First contact, the silent observers. Dr. Sarah Chen stared at the data scrolling across her monitor at the Arecibo Observatory, her coffee growing cold beside her keyboard. The signal pattern she'd been tracking for the past 3 weeks had just changed. What started as an anomalous blip at the edge of the Kuiper Belt had transformed into something that defied natural explanation. "James, are you seeing this?" She called out to her colleague without taking her eyes off the screen. The electromagnetic signature was unlike anything recorded in human history, a perfect, repeating pattern that spoke of artificial origin. "Yeah, and so are about 30 other observatories." James Wheeler's voice carried a mix of excitement and apprehension. "Whatever these things are, they're not trying to hide anymore. The objects, 17 of them, each about the size of a small car, had appeared seemingly out of nowhere. Their sudden presence at the edge of our solar system had initially been dismissed as a cluster of distant asteroids. But asteroids didn't emit complex radiation patterns, and they certainly didn't move with such precise coordination. Within hours, the global scientific community mobilized. From Chile to China, every major telescope turned toward the mysterious visitors. The objects maintained their position, continuing to broadcast their enigmatic signals while humanity watched and wondered. Dr. Chen's team was the first to decode a portion of the transmission. The patterns weren't random. They were observations, detailed scans of Earth's biosphere, atmospheric composition, and electromagnetic emissions. These weren't just visitors. They were observers, gathering data about humanity with methodical precision. "It's like they're conducting a planetary audit," Sarah explained to the hastily assembled UN Security Council via video conference. "The level of detail in their scans suggests technology far beyond our current capabilities, but there's something else that's even more interesting." She pulled up a comparative analysis. "They're paying particular attention to our adaptation patterns, how we've modified our environment, our technological progression rate, our responses to climate change. They're not just studying our planet, they're studying us." As weeks passed, more probes arrived, bringing the total to 53. They maintained their distance but intensified their scans. Earth's government struggled to maintain public calm as conspiracy theories and doomsday predictions flooded social media. But it was a small team of anthropologists who first recognized the true significance of the observers' behavior. Dr. Maya Patel's report sent shockwaves through the scientific community. These beings, whoever they are, aren't just studying us. They're afraid of us. The pattern of their observations mirrors how human researchers study potentially dangerous organisms. They're treating our entire species as an unknown variable in their equations. The revelation changed everything. Humanity had dreamed of first contact for centuries, imagining themselves as either beneficiaries of advanced alien wisdom or victims of hostile invasion. No one had considered that we might be viewed as the potentially dangerous species. Further analysis of the probe's behavior revealed more. They were maintaining a precise quarantine boundary, never crossing an invisible line they'd drawn around our solar system. Their scans focused heavily on human innovation rates, particularly our ability to adapt to new challenges and our speed in developing new technologies. 6 months into the observation, Dr. Chen made another breakthrough. Hidden within the probe's transmissions were references to other worlds, other species. Earth wasn't the first planet they'd studied, but we were different. Our rate of advancement from stone tools to spaceflight was unprecedented in their records. Our ability to thrive in virtually every environment on our planet was unmatched in their database of known species. "We're not being evaluated for first contact," she announced to a packed auditorium at SETI headquarters. "We're being evaluated as a potential threat. Every achievement that we're proud of, our resilience, our adaptability, our drive to explore and expand, these are the very things that terrify them." The irony wasn't lost on humanity. After centuries of looking to the stars with hope and fear, we had discovered that we were the ones being feared. But this knowledge brought with it a new understanding of our species' unique qualities and a growing awareness of our potential. As the first year of observation drew to a close, Humanity faced a choice. We could remain passive subjects of study, accepting our quarantine, or we could prove that our remarkable traits, the very ones that caused such alien concern, could be directed toward peaceful cooperation rather than conflict. Dr. Chen stood at her window late one night, watching the stars and thinking about the signals still flowing between the alien probes. "They're watching us right now," she said to James, who had brought her a fresh cup of coffee. "Every decision we make, every reaction we show, it's all being analyzed and evaluated." "Then let's give them something worth watching," he replied, pulling up a new analysis on his tablet. "I think I've found a way to communicate with them on their own terms. If they're going to study us like a potentially dangerous species, maybe it's time we showed them why humanity's adaptability is a feature, not a bug." The probes continued their silent vigil at the edge of our solar system, but now they were observing something new. A species that, having discovered it was feared, chose not to react with aggression or fear of its own, but with determination to prove its worth to the galactic community. The silent observers had unwittingly initiated humanity's first step toward proving itself ready for the stars, not despite our unique traits, but because of them. The warning signs. The first message arrived exactly 1 year after the probe's appearance. Unlike their previous analytical signals, this was a clear attempt at communication, a mathematical sequence that any advanced civilization would recognize, followed by what appeared to be an invitation. Admiral Helena Reyes stood before the UN Security Council, her weathered face illuminated by the holographic display of the alien transmission. "They want to meet," she announced, her voice steady despite the gravity of the moment. "But not with our political leaders. They've specifically requested our scientists, engineers, and military strategists." The selection criteria for the meeting was peculiar. The aliens demanded representatives who had demonstrated exceptional adaptability in their fields, individuals who had made breakthrough discoveries or shown remarkable tactical innovation. It was as if they were more interested in humanity's potential than its current achievements. Dr. Chen found herself among the chosen delegates, along with James Wheeler and Dr. Maya Patel. The meeting location, a specially constructed facility in neutral territory, the middle of the Pacific Ocean. The aliens wouldn't land. Instead, they would project holographic representatives while maintaining their physical distance. As the delegates assembled on the converted oil platform, a new pattern emerged that only Dr. Patel seemed to notice. "Look at how they're categorizing us," she whispered to Sarah during the preparation briefing. "They're not organizing us by nationality or field of expertise. They're grouping us by our problem-solving approaches." The first contact session began with an announcement that sent chills through the assembled humans. "Your species," the alien representative stated through their translation matrix, "has triggered the Proximate Intelligence Protocol. You are the 47th civilization to reach this threshold. You are the first to do so in less than 100,000 of your years." What followed was not the expected exchange of scientific knowledge or diplomatic overtures. Instead, the aliens presented a series of increasingly complex problems: theoretical physics challenges, ethical dilemmas, tactical scenarios. They weren't testing our knowledge. They were testing our methods. During a break in the sessions, James Wheeler made a disturbing connection. "They're not just observing us anymore," he told Sarah as they reviewed the day's interactions. "They're benchmarking us against something. Every problem they've presented has multiple solutions, but they seem particularly interested in how quickly we devise new approaches." Dr. Patel's anthropological expertise provided another layer of insight. Their body language, or whatever you'd call it in a hologram, shows increasing signs of distress when we demonstrate particularly innovative solutions. They're not impressed, they're concerned. The breakthrough in understanding came from an unexpected source. Lieutenant Maria Santos, a game theory specialist from Brazil's Strategic Command, recognized a pattern in the aliens' behavior. "They're not testing our capabilities," she announced during an emergency meeting of the human delegation. "They're testing our limitations. Every scenario they present is designed to identify our constraints, our breaking points. The truth began to emerge through careful analysis of both the tests and the observers' reactions. Humanity's rapid advancement wasn't just unprecedented, it was considered dangerous. The aliens weren't representatives of a single civilization. They were members of a galactic quarantine coalition, tasked with identifying and containing potentially destabilizing species. Admiral Rice put it bluntly, "They're not here to welcome us to the galactic community. They're here to decide how to contain us." The evidence was in their questions, their tests, and their barely concealed reactions to human innovation. Every problem solved with unexpected efficiency added to their concern. Each display of human adaptability increased their anxiety. They weren't looking for allies. They were assessing a potential threat. Dr. Chen spent sleepless nights analyzing the data from both the probes and the contact sessions. "There's something they're not telling us," she told her colleagues during a secure meeting. "These tests, they're too specific, too focused on certain types of problems. It's like they're looking for something particular, something they've seen before." The warning signs were there for those who knew where to look. The aliens' careful maintenance of physical distance, their focus on human problem-solving methods, their particular interest in our species' ability to adapt to new challenges, it all pointed to a hidden agenda. James Wheeler found the key in the historical data the aliens had inadvertently revealed. The 46 other species they mentioned, they're not just random civilizations. They're all stable, predictable, and most importantly, containable. We're the outlier. We're the ones who don't fit their models. The human delegation faced a critical decision. Should they continue to participate in these evaluations, knowing they were essentially helping to design their own cage? Or was there another way to approach this challenge, one that would demonstrate humanity's unique qualities as an asset rather than a threat? Dr. Patel advocated for a bold approach. If they fear our adaptability, let's show them why they shouldn't. We need to demonstrate that rapid advancement doesn't necessarily lead to destruction. We need to prove that innovation can serve stability. As the second round of evaluations approached, humanity prepared to turn the tables on their observers. The aliens had created this test to assess humanity's threat potential. Instead, they would discover why human unpredictability might be exactly what the galaxy needed. Admiral Rice gathered the delegation for one final briefing. "They think they're studying us," she said, her eyes reflecting the determination that had defined human progress for millennia. "It's time we showed them that understanding goes both ways. Let's give them something they've never seen before. A species that can change the rules of the game itself." The hidden agenda. The truth emerged during the third round of evaluations, but not in the way anyone expected. Dr. Sarah Chen was reviewing quantum encryption patterns from the alien transmissions when she noticed something peculiar, a hidden data stream buried beneath the official communications. "They're arguing among themselves," she announced to the emergency council assembled in the facility's secure basement. The holographic display flickered with decoded alien transmissions, each message more revealing than the last. "The Quarantine Coalition isn't unified. They're fracturing over how to handle us." Admiral Rice leaned forward, her eyes narrowing at the translated text. "3 factions," she said, counting them off. "The containment group wants to isolate us completely. The preservation group advocates for limited contact. And the integration group," she paused, a slight smile playing at her lips, "they want to learn from us." The revelation transformed their understanding of the situation. The aliens weren't a monolithic force. They were different species with competing ideologies, united only by their fear of rapid change. And humanity's emergence had triggered a crisis in their carefully maintained order. Dr. Maya Patel's anthropological insights proved crucial. "Look at their social structures," she said, pulling up comparative analyses. Every member species of the coalition evolved slowly, taking millions of years to reach spaceflight. They built their entire civilization on the principle of controlled, predictable progress. We're not just an anomaly. We're a contradiction of their fundamental beliefs. The hidden agenda became clear. The evaluations weren't just about containing humanity. They were about preserving the coalition's philosophical foundation. If humans could achieve in thousands of years what took others millions, while maintaining social stability and ethical development, it would challenge everything they believed about civilizational progress. James Wheeler discovered something even more startling in the decoded transmissions. They're not just afraid of our advancement rate, he explained, highlighting specific passages. They're afraid because they've seen something like us before. There are references to an event they call the acceleration, some ancient crisis that changed their entire approach to emerging civilizations. Lieutenant Santos's game theory expertise provided the final piece of the puzzle. These tests weren't designed to evaluate us, she said. They were designed to force us into revealing aggressive tendencies. They expected us to respond to containment with violence, because that's what happened before. The human delegation gathered in their secure conference room, now armed with understanding that transformed their perspective. The coalition's fear wasn't just about humanity's potential for destruction. It was about our potential for change. Every innovative solution, every adaptive response, every peaceful resolution to their challenges contradicted their expectations. Dr. Chen presented her analysis to the assembled group. The integration group is growing stronger, she reported. Our responses are proving that rapid advancement doesn't have to lead to conflict. We're showing them something they've never seen: controlled evolution, directed innovation. But the containment group wouldn't go down without a fight. New probes appeared in the solar system, these ones carrying what unmistakably appeared to be defensive capabilities. The message was clear: prove your peaceful nature, or face isolation. Admiral Rice recognized the opportunity hidden within the threat. They're not just testing our capabilities anymore, she said. They're testing their own assumptions. Every peaceful solution we provide, every instance of cooperation we demonstrate, weakens the containment group's position. The human delegation formulated a bold response. Instead of focusing on proving their technological prowess, they would demonstrate something the coalition had never considered: the ability to advance rapidly while maintaining ethical growth. They would show that innovation and stability weren't mutually exclusive. Dr. Paddle developed a revolutionary approach to the continuing evaluations. We need to show them our failures as well as our successes, she argued. Not just how we overcome challenges, but how we learn from mistakes. That's something their slow evolution model never had to handle: rapid adaptation through failure and recovery. The strategy was risky. Revealing human weaknesses could provide ammunition to the containment group, but it would also demonstrate something unique about humanity: our ability to transform setbacks into advantages, to learn and grow stronger from adversity. James Wheeler discovered a pattern in the coalition's historical records that supported their approach. Every species they've encountered either developed too slowly to be a concern or too quickly to be stable. We're showing them a third path: controlled rapid development guided by ethical considerations. As the hidden agenda of the coalition became clear, humanity's response evolved. They weren't just fighting for their right to join the galactic community. They were challenging fundamental assumptions about civilization itself. Each demonstration of peaceful innovation, each example of adaptive problem-solving without aggression, sent ripples through the coalition's carefully maintained order. Dr. Chen found herself working late one night, analyzing the latest transmission patterns, when she noticed something unprecedented. The integration group's communications had changed frequency. They were preparing to break ranks with the coalition. Humanity hadn't just proven itself capable of controlled advancement. They had catalyzed change within the very organization meant to contain them. Admiral Rice gathered the delegation for what would prove to be a crucial briefing. We're not just subjects of their evaluation anymore, she declared. We've become catalysts for change in their civilization. The question isn't whether we'll be contained, it's whether their system can adapt to what we represent. As the hidden agenda of the coalition unraveled, humanity stood at the threshold of not just joining the galactic community, but transforming it. The very qualities that had marked them as dangerous, their adaptability, their rapid progress, their innovative spirit, were becoming the keys to a new kind of interstellar civilization. Breaking the chains. The integration group made their move on a quiet Tuesday morning. Without warning, 3 of their ships decloaked within Earth's orbit, sleek vessels that made the observation probes look primitive by comparison. But they hadn't come to threaten. They had come to defect. Your species has forced us to confront an uncomfortable truth. The integration group's representative, a being who called itself Symphony, announced to the hastily assembled human delegation. The very stability we prize has become our weakness. We have chosen safety over growth for too long. Dr. Sarah Chen and her team worked tirelessly to verify the authenticity of their visitors. The ship's quantum signatures matched the encrypted communications they'd been studying. These weren't just dissidents. They represented the most technologically advanced faction within the coalition. Admiral Rice saw the strategic implications immediately. They're not just breaking ranks, she explained to the UN Security Council. They're offering us access to technologies that the containment group never wanted us to have. But more importantly, they're offering us legitimacy. The integration group's ships brought with them something even more valuable than advanced technology: data. Centuries of records about the coalition's true history, including the mysterious event they called the acceleration. Dr. Maya Patel's analysis of the historical records revealed a shocking truth. The acceleration wasn't just one event, she reported. It was the emergence of a species like us, one that developed too quickly for the coalition to control. But unlike us, they chose aggression. The coalition's response shaped their entire civilization. James Wheeler discovered something even more significant in the technical data. The coalition's containment technology. It's all based on principles we were already close to discovering. They weren't afraid of our current capabilities. They were afraid of how quickly we'd surpass them. But humanity's response to this revelation proved exactly why we were different. Instead of using this knowledge to break free by force, the human delegation proposed something unprecedented: a controlled demonstration of human innovation combined with ethical restraint. Lieutenant Santos developed a game theory model that predicted the coalition's response. If we show them that rapid advancement can be channeled into cooperation rather than competition, we don't just solve our problem, we solve theirs. The plan was audacious. Using the integration group's technology as a foundation, human scientists began developing hybrid systems that combined alien efficiency with human creativity. Each innovation was carefully designed to demonstrate not just technological prowess, but ethical considerations and peaceful applications. Dr. Chen led the development of a new communication protocol that would revolutionize interstellar diplomacy. We're not just creating better technology, she explained to Symphony. We're creating better ways to understand each other. That's something the coalition never considered in their containment protocols. The containment group responded predictably, with threats of isolation and sanctions. But their position weakened with each peaceful human innovation. More coalition members began questioning the wisdom of containing a species that consistently chose cooperation over conflict. Admiral Rice orchestrated the final phase of humanity's demonstration. In a bold move, she invited the entire coalition to witness a controlled test of human adaptive capabilities. The challenge: solve a problem that had plagued coalition species for millennia. Stable faster than light communication. We're not trying to prove we're better, she announced to the gathered observers. We're trying to prove we're different. Humanity's rapid development isn't a threat to stability. It's an opportunity for growth. The human team, working with integration group allies, achieved in months what the coalition hadn't in centuries. But it wasn't just the speed that impressed the observers, it was the methodology. Every step was documented, every ethical consideration was addressed, and every advancement was designed to be shared rather than hoarded. Dr. Patel noted the shifting attitudes among the coalition representatives. They're not just seeing what we can do, she observed. They're seeing who we are. Our adaptability isn't just about technology, it's about perspective. The breakthrough came when James Wheeler demonstrated how human innovations could be integrated with coalition systems without disrupting their careful balance. "We're not asking you to change everything," he explained to the observers. "We're showing you how controlled evolution can strengthen rather than threaten stability." Symphony watched these developments with growing appreciation. "Your species has done more than prove its worth," they announced to the human delegation. "You've shown us a new way forward. The question is no longer whether to contain humanity. It's whether the coalition can afford not to learn from you." As the demonstration concluded, the containment group found itself isolated. Their philosophy of absolute control had been challenged not by force, but by example. Humanity had proven that rapid advancement and ethical development could coexist, and in doing so, had begun to transform the very civilization that sought to contain them. Admiral Reyes gathered the human delegation for what would be her final meeting before the coalition's vote. "We didn't just break their chains," she said, looking at each team member. "We showed them why those chains were unnecessary in the first place. That's the real victory here, not freedom from containment, but freedom from fear of change itself." A new dawn. 5 years after humanity's breakthrough, the galaxy looked very different. The coalition's rigid hierarchy had transformed into something more dynamic, a galactic commons where rapid innovation and stable growth weren't just possible, but complementary. Dr. Sarah Chen stood at the window of Harmony Station, Earth's first joint human-alien construction project, watching ships from a dozen species dock and depart. Each vessel represented a different approach to space travel, a different cultural solution to the same challenges. The diversity that once terrified the coalition had become its greatest strength. "Sometimes I wonder if they realize what really changed," Admiral Rice said, joining her at the window. Now serving as Earth's representative to the Commons, she'd seen firsthand how humanity's influence had rippled through alien societies. It wasn't our technology that transformed them. It was our perspective. The integration group's gamble had paid off beyond anyone's expectations. Their decision to ally with humanity had triggered a cascade of changes throughout galactic civilization. The rigid boundaries between species began to blur, replaced by collaborative networks that celebrated different approaches to common challenges. Dr. Maya Patel's latest anthropological survey revealed the extent of the transformation. "We're seeing hybrid solutions everywhere," she reported to the Commons Council. "Species that once feared change are now actively seeking it, but on their own terms, at their own pace. They're learning to adapt without losing their identity." James Wheeler's innovative communication protocols had become the foundation for a new kind of interstellar dialogue. The old coalition tried to prevent species from influencing each other. He explained to a group of alien students at the newly established Galactic Academy. But influence isn't the same as interference. Sharing ideas doesn't mean losing yourself. The containment group's fears had proven unfounded. Rather than destabilizing galactic civilization, humanity's rapid advancement had revitalized it. Species that had stagnated for millennia found new purpose in collaborative innovation. The careful balance between progress and stability wasn't maintained through restriction, but through understanding. Lieutenant Santos's game theory models had evolved into the Commons Protocol, a framework for managing technological exchange between species with different development rates. The key was recognizing that advancement isn't linear, she explained. Every species has something to teach and something to learn. Symphony, now a permanent liaison between Earth and the former coalition worlds, observed the changes with satisfaction. "Your species showed us that fear of change was our greatest limitation," they told Dr. Chen during a private meeting. "You taught us that true stability comes from adaptation, not restriction." The mysterious event known as the acceleration was finally understood in its full context. The aggressive species that had triggered the coalition's containment policies had been responding to fear, both their own and the fear they encountered. Humanity had demonstrated another path. Innovation driven by curiosity rather than competition. Dr. Patel's studies revealed an unexpected pattern in how different species were adapting to the new paradigm. "They're not just copying human methods," she noted. They're developing hybrid approaches that combine their natural tendencies with new possibilities. It's evolution in action, but guided by wisdom rather than fear. The galactic commons became a living laboratory for controlled innovation. Species that once isolated themselves now sought partnerships, each contributing their unique perspectives to shared challenges. The diversity that the coalition had feared became the driving force behind a renaissance in art, science, and philosophy. Admiral Rice took particular pride in how Earth had handled its new role. "We didn't become the leaders of galactic civilization," she often said. "We became its catalysts." That's a far more important role. The transformation wasn't without its challenges. Some species struggled with the pace of change, while others pushed for faster advancement. But the Commons Protocol provided a framework for managing these differences, allowing each civilization to find its own balance between progress and stability. Dr. Chen's latest project symbolized the new era, a massive database that combined the historical knowledge of all known species. "We're not just sharing technology," she explained to the Commons Council. "We're sharing experiences, mistakes, and lessons learned. That's the real foundation of stable progress." As Harmony Station completed another orbit around Earth, Dr. Chen reflected on how far they'd come. The observation probes that had once watched Earth with such suspicion were now parts of an early warning network designed to welcome new civilizations rather than contain them. "We didn't just change their minds about humanity," she told her old friend James as they watched the galactic traffic flow past their window. "We changed their minds about change itself. That's the real triumph. Not that we broke free, but that we showed them why freedom from fear is the greatest advancement of all." Symphony joined them at the window, their crystalline form refracting the light of distant stars. "Your species once asked why we feared you," they said. "Now we understand that the question itself revealed why you were different. You didn't just want to advance, you wanted to understand. That desire to comprehend rather than control, that is humanity's true gift to the galaxy." As night fell over Earth, visible through Harmony Station's vast windows, the stars seemed brighter somehow. Each point of light represented not just a distant sun, but a civilization learning to embrace change while honoring stability. Humanity had found its place among them, not by forcing its way in, but by showing that diversity and growth were two sides of the same coin. The many had come to contain humanity, but in the end, humanity had contained something far more dangerous: the fear of change itself. In doing so, they hadn't just secured their own future. They had helped forge a new kind of civilization, one that drew strength from difference and wisdom from change. The dawn of this new era was just beginning, and its light would shine across the galaxy for generations to come.